Hey guys, Liam here, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what my thoughts are on the DT Swiss 5351 fork. So I've been on this fork for a few months now, riding on all different kinds of conditions, and it's super impressive, not only the way it rides, but also the thought and engineering behind it. So first impressions on how it rides, it's super supple off the top. So, you know, with it not having any dampening or air spring at the beginning of the stroke, you get that super supple ride feel, and it almost feels like a coil off the top. So small bump compliance is insane on this, as well as the position sensitive damping. So I never really feel myself diving, never really feel the fork going into too much travel than I want it to. And it's definitely refreshing having that. I pretty much followed the DT Swiss setup guide for the first couple weeks of riding it. It came with 2 tokens in the air side, and I tried that at first, and for most of the riding, I set my suspension up for like the 80-90% of riding I do, and the 2 tokens is just a little much for that, so I actually ended up backing it off to 1, which is actually pretty rare for me. I normally run 2 or 3 in most other forks, so definitely something to notice there. It's a bit progressive, and I think the position sensitive dampening has something to do with that as well. Another thing is the 3-position fork is pretty nice. You know, climbing big heavy bikes, it is nice. I pretty much only ever put it into they call it the drive mode or the middle mode when climbing. I never really have to lock it out, but it is nice to, you know, get a little bit of platform when you're standing up on some steep fire roads. So definitely nice having the lockout feature, as well as what other things I noticed was the integration. So the fender that comes with it that bolts on is super clean. Nice to have a fender that doesn't have zip ties, so that's cool. As well as the brake hose mount, it's really nice, it's clean. It holds the brake hose snugly, but you don't have to really use a bolt for it. And the last integration is the axle. So the axle actually comes out, so you can run it without this guy, so it's just a bolt-on axle now with a 6mm Allen, as well as this screws out, and here's your T10 to take off your air side, adjust your low speed compression, as well as your rebound, all use this T10. So that's all integrated into the fork. Nice feature. I've ridden it with this in the fork for the entire time I've been riding it. Never had any issues of it falling out. Make sure it clicks in and you're good to go. So those are my first impressions on the DT Swiss fork thus far. I'm kind of tired of talking. I'll definitely have more write up in the blog and more thoughts on this, but I'm gonna go ride my bike now, so